and welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast, sponsored by Motivate Training and Management. This is a podcast where we talk to drivers and industry experts to help you maximize your performances on and off the track. Let's get started with today's show. Hi crew, welcome to episode 131 of the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. I am your host Belinda Risley, and this week I am joined by speed car driver Ben Micallef. Ben is coming off the 5th in the 22-21 C and H series. Ben is looking to continue his form rolling into the 22-23 season. Over his 15 years career, he has recorded 42 wins and 76 top fives through Go Karting, Junior Sedans and Sprint Cars. Ben has a brand new merchandise due to be released soon. Alongside, he has confirmed he's got a new calendar that will be released courtesy of the Mortlake Roadhouse. If you're interested in getting started in Speedway or interested in just knowing about our driver spotlight of Ben Micallef, I hope you do enjoy today's show. If you haven't already, love it if you could race over and write us a review over on your preferred podcast player so we can see how we're going and give you a bit of a plug over on the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. Hope you have a fantastic day. Join us next week where we'll be talking to Lockie Mansell from Checker Flag Media, also known as the 2021 Beauty and the Geek winner. Look forward to tuning in next week. Hey Ben, welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast.
Hey, nice to be here.
I know, it's been a long time coming. We've been trying, I reckon, for nearly a year now to try and get you onto the podcast. So I'm very excited to hear your story. So tell us, how did you get started in motorsports?
Unfortunately, guilty by association. Dad's now in his 36th year of racing, and I'm now in my 15th. So, yeah, he sort of just brought us up into it, and I was about 5 and got dirt kart racing, and then obviously progressed through where we're now in a sprint car, so that's a very big change. But yeah, started in dirt karts. I went to asphalt junior stands in Speedway when we made the transition. I was about 12, and then did a couple of meetings in a junior Formula 500. So that was pretty cool. And now in a sprint car. So yeah, big changes. And it was just from day one, always going to be motorsport.
Fantastic. And so what kind of, you mentioned the category that you're racing now, sprint cars. What series are you racing at the moment or have you previously done? And tell us a little bit about the differences.
So currently I've got a LS powered sprint car. So it's just they're all V8s, but it comes out of a Commodore. A lot of them are getting imported from the States as well. So it's very cost effective in terms of sprint car racing. You know, it is a costly sport, and as we all know, it's not easy to do. So I race with the C&H trucking series. There's about 7 or 8 races every year, and that's cool. It's pretty low key. It's limited, but it keeps the cost down. So that's where we're at the minute. So yep, very happy with that. In terms of
cost-effective motorsports.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the tire crisis at the minute. You know, we're all struggling, and everyone needs a bit of help. So yeah, to be able to do your 7 or 8 shows, and then on top of that, you've got obviously all your Victorian and other states and national titles. So that all helps, and you know, a few pub shows here and there, and hopefully this year I'll be able to get out and run with the 410s a few times, just to give the car a bit of a shakedown and have a bit of a run.
Fantastic. And just a bit of a side note, you were saying about the tyres. I saw on social media yesterday, one of the journalists in Melbourne actually had her car tyres stolen. And she's like, this is ridiculous. Like, she's walked outside to take the kids to school. Her car's parked out in the street with no tyres on it. And I was like, really? I was like gobsmacked.
Yeah. It's we're not that bad yet, but I'm sure that we probably will end up there. It's pretty bad in terms of in America. They've already said, you know, where our supply is pretty low. So for us, we run different compounds in sprint cars anyway. So it's all custom made. I think we're gonna be in a bit of strife soon.
So you're saying your dad still races? Do you guys race against each other?
Yeah, we do actually. It's real cool. So the goal was always to have. I've got a younger brother, Darcy, who also happens to be my crew chief, and him and I have raced together for an awful long time. So yeah, the goal was always to get all 3 of us on track at once, and unfortunately that hasn't happened as to this day. And Dad's now 56, so It is still the plan. We just don't know when. It's going to be a long-term thing. But at 56, he's tried to pick up a sprint car, and we both started. I started a year after him. He did a year. I finished juniors, and then I jumped in as well. So, yeah, both run together, the same thing. I think he's beaten me once or twice, and the rest I just wave out the window and take it A. But
I was about to say, who plays the driver coach in this situation?
It's kind of hard too, because we have raced for so long. There's a lot of habits that I've picked up from everything I've raced, and he's got a lot of habits as well. Yeah. So we try and come together and say, we're here, or the car's doing this or this. And it's really good. We can bounce off each other very well, but in the same token, it's hard because we have got those habits, and especially for being so old, you can't go to him, I'm doing this. I reckon you should try this, because 9 times out of 10 it just doesn't help. But in the same token, he's doing well enough that he can hold his own. So very pleased with where we are as a team.
And where does Darcy's allegiance lie? Is he with you or with your dad as well, or he's got time?
Yeah, he's somewhere in the middle. So I'm very fortunate. At the end of last year, we found a lot of pace in the car. We found a few things wrong in terms of my driving and the car setup. And Darcy was a really big part of that. He's a big credit to where we are. So I think he's actually looking at me somewhere in the house. But he's a very big part of that. So next year, I think I've got him full time on my car. He's going to be number 1. He's the head crew chief, and he calls the shots. So if we can replicate that next year, we finished 5th in the series, and I think I went through a B main every night. We passed something ridiculous, like 74 cars over 7 meetings. And that was a lot of work, but in the same token, you can't do it without a good team and a good crew and a good car. Like, we haven't got the best gear, but we make it work. And Darcy's got the understanding of me as a driver to go, he's going to do this, or the car's doing this. I can help him here. And obviously that comes through a lot of time spent together. So that's good. But yeah, there's always still more to go.
And at race weekends, are you brothers, or are you driver and crew chief, or how does that family dynamic work?
Obviously being brothers, we've grown up 100% like this. We are so tight, it's not funny. And obviously that's grown a long way. We never used to be. It used to always be, we're competitors. But we've been able to separate that. And on a race weekend, because it's all in one night. We're over in 4 hours. It's great. You rock up, you roll out, you're done in 4.5 hours. You're rolling home and you go and watch. And it's good because we can roll into the track. All day Sunday. If you have to do maintenance, I can be done in 2 or 3 hours, and it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday. And I got the rest of the day. You're going to the gym, or you're going out for lunch, or you shout the crew a feed, whatever. It's really cool. But when you roll at the racetrack, we kind of have the understanding that we're here to do a job. I'm a very firm believer that if you do it once, you do it properly. And I'm not going to go out on the track and only run at 60 or 70%. I'd much rather go out and hit it 110%. And we're going to do it together. So if he's there for the whole time and he's able to say, let's do this, and I'm not going to bite his head off, 100%. And a lot of people in particular families, they'll roll up to the racetrack, and you'll see it every week. They'll butt heads and they'll carry on, but him and I, we just seem to get on, and it just works.
Awesome.
We just know our role. So,
and is it your full-time job working on the car? Yeah. So what if you're not racing, what are you doing day to day?
This is a hard one. So I'm actually a sign rider. I'm not qualified. I've just started an apprenticeship, and I own my own business doing the same thing. So I work for Signs to Go in Geelong, and work full time for them as an apprentice, and then come home from work and do my own stuff on the side. So a lot of my own stuff is race car based. I wrap all our own cars, and I've got a few clients now, and it's really cool. We're pumping out Go Karts and Formula 500s and all sorts of different stuff. A fair bit of logo design as well. That's pretty cool. But yeah, just fit the race car in wherever I can. Obviously, with me being in Geelong, the race cars are then located in Camperdown, which is about an hour and a half. So it makes it a little bit hard. So it sort of just leaves weekends. But like I said before, you know your role. So on a Sunday, you wash up, you put the car straight in the shed, you do all your maintenance, because then your week's easy. You don't have to worry about a Friday night. You just roll it in the trailer, and it's happy days. So that's kind of where we're at this point. And it works. We're not stressed out on Friday night. sometimes I'll have the occasional sticker to put on if there's been something go wrong during the week and I've got to replace it. But yeah, it's pretty cruisy.
At least you know how to do it.
Yeah, very true, very true. It does help out because I'm able to do changes throughout the year, and if a sponsor comes up and says, "Hey, we're looking at helping out," you can say, "Righto, well, I've got this. It'll be done tomorrow." It's that sort of relationship, and I'm able to say, it's going to be this, it's going to do this. And I understand a lot more of the marketing and signage side through that. I'm able to see a lot more stuff because I've deferred a course at uni for marketing. So that's cool as well. I've kind of got a lot of experience in that too.
Yeah, well, it's a good leadway into going into sponsorship. Tell us a little bit about how you've gone. Have you had any struggles or challenges gaining sponsorship, or have you got a great base of sponsors, or you don't have any sponsors? Tell us a little bit about your relationships with partners, I guess.
Yeah, our marketing partners are really cool. We've got Cush Clothing, we've got the Mortlake Roadhouse, Micallef Services, Wicked Creation, the Tyre Factory, Warrnambool, Top Spot Auto Dismantlers, and Stake Road Bar and Grill. Bowden Zone as well. Actually, they were on last year, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to get in contact with them for next year. But in the same token, it's been a bit of a struggle for a while. Especially through the junior ranks. Speedway doesn't get a whole lot of publicity, which I understand. It's a Saturday night thing, and it's not your asphalt motorsport. But in the same token, you can go to a sprint car race and you'll see 400 passes in a night, and it is off the chain, and you can see the whole track. It is. To me, it's one of the greatest forms of motorsport going. And we're very lucky. I'm very lucky to be a part of it. But all of our partners are very supportive of what we do. And just recently, the Mortlake Roadhouse came on for this year, and they're title sponsor this year for me. And, Dion and the team over there were great to work with, and it made the process so easy. But in the same token, it is such a not cost effective, but it's a very costly sport where you have to manage your costs very well. So, you're always looking, and you've always got to maintain your relationships. The only issue with Speedway, again, is there's not a whole lot of opportunity to look after your partners. So, there's no ride days, there's no corporate marquees, you haven't got a corporate box. And if you do, it's very, very costly. You're 3 or 4 times past where you should be. So it's it's a hard gig, but in the same token, we make it work, and everyone that's on board have always supported us. I think I've had the Top Spot Auto Dismantlers partnership for, I think we're at 10 years now. So it's pretty cool. The whole way through juniors, they've been behind me, and the same with the Tyre Factory, Warrnambool. Jeff and the team over there jumped on, and we haven't looked back. They've been really good, and the Warrnambool Telephone Company, they've jumped back on board this year. We had half a year without them on my car last year. They've always been on Dad's. But they're back on both this year. So big year this year in terms of partners, and we're just going to make it work.
And with the partners coming on board, are they coming to you, or are you seeking sponsorship from them?
It's a little bit of both. Yeah. So for me personally, I have reached out to a few, and they've been successful as cold calls. Cold calling is really hard for anyone that wants to do that. It's it's a pathway, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's really hard. So warm people up, get in there. People are really, really handy. In particular, the people on your crew and the family and the partners you've got, because there's no better recommendation than someone that's already working with you. Personally, I know I've picked a few up just through people I know. Hey, this kid's doing really well. I was really impressed with him, and you'll get a phone call during the week, and they're like, "Hey, heard you did well on the weekend. Good stuff." And it's just that sort of reputation and relationship that you start. You then nurture into a partnership, whether that's short term. It could be a 6-month gig, or it could be a 5-year gig. And it may take you 5 years to get there, but it could also take you 2 weeks. And that's the important thing. You never burn a bridge. And I learned that pretty quick. I did that a few times, and I learned the hard way. You can't. In the motorsport industry, you really can't afford to burn bridges and hurt people, because there's too much riding on it. You can't get away with it to be successful.
Yes, and like I say, you never know who knows who, and it works both ways. So someone that can introduce you to the right person, someone that can also break you as well.
100%. And the biggest comment I've ever heard anyone say was Wade Oranger had actually mentioned to Dylan Menz, who posted this on Facebook, and it's you never know who's watching, whether it's at home, whether it's on the track, or it's your day-to-day life. Someone will be like, "Oh, that kid's doing well," or "That kid's just nowhere to be seen," or he's acting this way or he's acting that way, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. You just never know who's watching. So always maintain that your brand or your personality is always at the forefront, and you actually want that to be seen.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your brand.
Yeah, my brand's pretty simple. We like to keep it professional, but in the same token, it's Speedway's about having fun. You're not there to race for sheep stations. As much as you want to do well, everyone wants to do well. There's not big money involved in terms of winning and finishing positions. So, yeah, absolutely maintain professionalism, but we're the number 21. We've got really good partners, and we're always fluoro yellow. So we'll keep rolling with that sort of thing, and it works. We've gained a lot of friends across the course of it, and yeah, I'm really happy with where we are as a brand. We've got a great group of people, and we all act very well. So very proud of that.
And how does social media come into your brand?
Probably not as much as it should. Yeah, I actually really enjoy it. Yeah, in terms of social media, I actually really enjoy that side of things. It's more so run as a team in terms of Micallef Racing rather than me personally. I've got my own personal Instagram, just doesn't get a whole lot of attention. We'll post maybe once a month on that, or I'll personally do it. I do all of our socials. And then the Micallef Racing stuff, especially during race season, we're weekly, or if not daily. 2 or 3 times a week is my goal. Obviously during the off season, it's hard. We get into esports, but where do you draw the line? You can get into that and post the hell out of it. It looks really good, but in the same token, someone's going to get bored by the time you get to the race season, and then they're not going to focus, or they'll be confused. You've got to just draw that line, and that gets really hard too. But when you get to race season, it's photos, it's event wrap-ups, it's little comments, or who's excited for this. But especially recently, we've had a lot of merchandise go through our social medias. I obviously, with the design side of things through my business, I'm able to do all of that and get other people to manufacture that for me. So that's been really cool, and I've been able to incorporate that fairly well into the social media side of things, and it just seems to work. And I think we're at 1,000 page. We're scheduled for 1,000 page likes in 2 weeks, so 1,000 page likes, and that's going to be a giveaway, and we're going to sort a few things out. And we're actually looking at doing a tech talk, or personally I am.
Yeah. Just
explain a bit more about a sprint car, because they're very old school, mechanical driven. Carbies on some are fuel injected, and no computers on them, and some have got magnetos, and it is very hard to get your head around. They're not actually injectors, they're nozzles. So that side of things I'm really hoping to expand on, because that's the stuff that people get engaged with, and it's all about engagement. So if I can tap into that market and say, hey, here's something that you may not know, and then on race night too, a lot of people around me have been very successful using short videos, your TikToks or your Instagram shorts. And that works, and I'd love to get into that. But in the same token, we've got a dude, Todd Hobson, who races sprint cars and wingless as well. He's really, really good at vlogs, and it's really effective. And that's something that I'd personally like to get into. Just 10, 15 minutes, and they follow you on race night, and they, conversations in the pits. And Sprint Car Hub do this with different drivers in Queensland a fair bit. They're really good on it. They'll just follow a different driver a night, and it shows a lot more into not just the driving on the track, but the whole setup and how the crew runs and how everything works on a night, which a lot of people think, you jump in the car and you go. But in terms of a sprint car,
That's right.
There are so many variables in terms of your fuel system, your fuel, which fuel you're running. We're all obviously on methanol, but you can have different fuel loads and different fuel flows, and your pumps are all different. Everything's mechanical driven, your tires, your compound, your size. We all run different stuff, and it's so different. But a lot of people just think, that's a big right rear and a small left rear. But even a quarter of an inch, you're not going to feel that. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, maybe we'll throw a quarter inch at it because that's going to change the way the car revs, or it's going to do this or that. So to be able to show people that would be really cool. And I think that's probably a market that I'd like to tap into.
Yeah, for sure. Fans love all that behind the scenes stuff. So the more that you can do it, the better. And it's definitely the videos. I love it. I can't wait to see it. Make sure you tag me in something so I can make sure I can follow it.
Absolutely.
So Ben, as you said, you've been racing for over 15 years. You race lots of different categories. What do you do for your fitness training?
Yeah, so obviously when I was in Go Karts, I was pretty young, so not a lot. Yeah, a bit of running here and there, and a little bit of just focus on the race car stuff.
Yeah.
But I sort of got to like 12 or 13. I'm like, nah, this has got to go next level. We were showing good pace and good speed, but I just wasn't consistent enough in terms of on the track fitness and actually being able to rely on the car. So once we got past that, or I personally got past that, I was running every second day. I was obviously still too young to join the gym, being 13 or 14. But that year that I decided, this fitness thing's got to be improved. I think we won 14 of 30 races that year. And yeah, 100%. And I credit a lot of my results over the past few years, in particular, to my fitness. So 2 or 3 nights a week in the gym, if not every night. Usually get up every morning and go for a walk, provided work's not crazy, starting at 6 or whatever. And, just focus on your step. Like the little things matter, your steps, what you put in your body. And, whether it's weights or it's cardio, or everyone's got a different goal in terms of where you want to be in the car. For me personally, it's to stay lean, but also be able to run a 30-lap feature race, because the car's pretty intense. You're sitting in it for sometimes up to 40 minutes waiting before you've even been pushed off, because you've got to get push started. And then you start and you're sitting around for 2 or 3 minutes. Then all of a sudden, hang on a minute, we're going green. And you're gone. And, if you're not mentally switched on, whether that's your reflexes or your reaction time or your body's not up to that, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. It's about being proactive, not reactive. So, yeah. And esports, iRacing, big help. Not in terms of staying physically fit, but mentally fit, just the way that other people react around you. And, I'll jump in a circuit car for one race and then back in a sprint car. It's that whole varying thing that iRacing and other esports platforms gives you, that you'd be able to go, yeah, I see I'm doing this really well, but I'm not doing this. And it's no different than reviewing footage from your actual race. Save a video from iRacing, look at it, go, right, oh, this was really good, this was really bad, and I really need to improve this. But go one step further. And, I haven't, but I know a lot of people do. They'll get someone in and they'll say, hey, can you have a look at this for me? I reckon I've done this wrong. Again, it's no different than a footballer reviewing footage on a Monday or a Tuesday. We can do the same thing. It might take us like a bit longer, or, it might be a Tuesday night because we've got work on a Monday night, or we're going to the gym on a Monday or whatever. It's harder, don't get me wrong, but we can still do that. And we have to do that. If we want to evolve and be better than we were yesterday, you can't stop. You have to just keep moving forward. So, yeah, big thing for me is reviewing footage. Buy that subscription. It might cost you $10, but if it's gonna give you all the footage for the year, $10 a month isn't that much when you're actually improving. And you have to personally see that result, and put your footage from the start of the year to the end of the year together, or put it side by side. Even whether it's together or side by side doesn't actually matter, but you'll be able to see that you started here and you got here, and progress is huge.
Fantastic. And Ben, what is your ultimate goal? What are we driving for? Have we been to America? Is that the goal, or is it?
Personally, I've been fortunate enough when I was still very young, Mum and Dad took both myself and my brother to the States for a month at a time. I've been 5 times. So very, very lucky. And that's always sort of driven a passion for me to get over to the States at some point just to race. I've got a few races I'd love to do. Unfortunately, the problem with that is cost. Everything's cost over there. It's cheaper, don't get me wrong.
Wow. Especially now. I think it's like $1.50. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just the whole fact of getting there, and then you got to get a car there, and you're still trying to manage your stuff here, but that's really hard. So obviously the end goal would be to get over there, but in terms of what we do over there, there's no set, this is what I want to do. And someone once told me, you have to do your apprenticeship, work through the ranks, and big believer in that. So, spend all the time I can over here developing my craft. And then if an opportunity was to arise, take it with both hands. And like I said before, don't half around, don't do things by halves. If you get given an opportunity, you have to use it because you're there for a job. And I've seen a lot of people go through and, they've had the opportunity and they've wasted it. And I don't want to be that person. So, yeah, in terms of what I've got right now, definitely develop that to a point where I'm able to say, hey, I actually think we're in a position where we can do this well, if not take this to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, you've shared lots of knowledge with us, so thank you very much. But do you have any advice for people that are getting started in motorsports, whether it's Ashfield or Speedway?
Obviously doing both, I've seen a fair bit, and it's, don't worry about the person next to you. They might be faster, but if you outwork them, and if you start early, but start yourself early enough that you've got to be here and you've earned the way to be here. That's probably a really big thing. You've got to have a lot of confidence in yourself and a lot of belief in yourself. The other thing is a lot of trust in yourself. You're on the track with 30 other race cars, and one thing goes wrong and a lot of other things go wrong. But if you trust yourself enough to say, hey, righto, I know that this is going to go down, or I can see this, or you're foreshadowing an event and you're like, actually, no, I did that. And you've just got to have confidence in yourself, and you've got to move forward through that. So I'd say jump at it with both hands. Make sure you work for it, though. It's not easy, and it never will be easy. Nothing about the sport's easy. Wow. But if you work for it, you'll get there. You always will. Hard work beats talent, and talent fails to work hard, and that will always matter. So, yeah, you just work hard, work on what you are, work on what you're doing. Try and incorporate your day-to-day life too. If you're doing something that you love, or you're not doing something that you love and you want to change to something that you love, make that work for you, especially in terms of getting into a race car. I'm a sign rider. That's because I like designing cars. That was the whole thing that got me into it. I designed race cars, and that was it. And I know that people get into mechanics and engineering because they like the way that cars react and they understand the geometry of a race car. And that's really important. If you can relate your day-to-day back to that, or you actually relate your day-to-day to where you want to be, life's a breeze. You'll cruise through it. So, absolutely hard work, and make your day-to-day stuff where you want to be.
Well, again, Ben, thank you so much for all of those insights. Where can people follow your journey?
On Instagram, you can find me at Ben Micallef _. Facebook, we're Micallef Racing or Micallef Racing Dirt. And then obviously starting a YouTube soon, which you'll find on both of those socials. And you can reach out anytime. If you're at a track, come say hi and grab a poster.
Yes. Are you going to sign up for me? I think I need to start.
Always.
I feel like I need to start putting these up around the walls instead of having this backdrop, because I do have lots.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, I love my Speedway. Hopefully, when it stops raining, I'll be able to get to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, Ben, thank you very much for your time. Guys, make sure you go and follow Ben's journey, and wish him all the very best for the upcoming race season. Thanks, Ben.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
Well, thanks everyone for listening to this week's show. I really hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, remember, all the show notes with the links and the specials mentioned in today's show are available over at motivatetraining.com.au. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate if you could head to iTunes or Stitcher, type in Motorsport Coaching, subscribe, and leave us a review. Each week, I'll read them out, and you'll go into a monthly draw to win a fantastic prize. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at motivatetraining.com.au or head over to our Facebook page at Motivate to Tea. Until next time, take care.